Three. Hey, welcome to the Financial Advantage podcast. We are powered by the Wells Funding Group. This is Dennis Wells. Super excited to be joined today with by John DeWitt with Trueblood Real Estate in Fishers. John, thank you so much for joining us on the program today.
Thanks, Dennis. I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about how you got started in the business.
Well, so I had a friend who's been in the business for about 8 years, and she's been on me for about 8 years to get in the business and join her. And I've been reluctant. I've been in manufacturing for 22 years, and making that big leap and career change is kind of a big leap. And I just had enough of manufacturing, and I saved up a little pile and I took that leap. And honestly, Dennis, I wish I'd done it 22 years ago.
Wow. Now, how long have you been in the business?
This is my first full year, but I got licensed last May of 23.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow,
so I was part-time up until this year.
Okay, that's amazing. So now, what were you doing in manufacturing?
I was a materials manager, master scheduler, over inventory and, scheduling and shipping, receiving, that kind of good stuff.
Okay.
Yep.
I imagine there is some takeaways and parallels from, project management on that scale to getting into real estate, keeping up with timelines and those kinds of things.
Yeah, really the biggest carryover has been the customer service aspect of it. Because, in materials management, I got to hit schedules to, big auto plants. You can't shut down an assembly plant, right?
Right.
So it's that customer service aspect that I really took away from it. I'm a servant leader. I really want to take care of my customers. Always wanted to take care of my, even my suppliers I looked at as a customer because I wanted everybody to be happy. So I kind of look at it the same way in real estate. I want, if I'm representing the buyer, I want the sellers to be happy too. I want everybody to win. So that's been the biggest carryover from the manufacturing world for me.
Yeah, I love the term servant leadership. What does that mean to you?
Well, it's something I learned in college. My APICS professor, he was big into APICS, got us certified in that, and he really preached servant leadership. And to me, it means just serving other people's needs. I'm last in line. In my mind, I'm last in line. If you're buying a house from me, it's whatever you need, whatever your schedule is, when you need to go see it, those kinds of things.
Yep. Yeah. I have a mentor that makes the statement that, for us as loan officers, if you're not calling your database clients that have a really low interest rate, it's because you're making it about you, not about them.
Exactly. Yeah. I treat my $1 million customers the same way as I treat my $200,000 customers, and I give them all the same level of urgency, the same level of care, and the same level of respect.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So at the end of the day, what I found is that, if we take care of our clients, everything else works itself out.
Exactly. And that's exactly what's happening. It's pretty cool to everybody told me it was going to be like this if I did that. And it's now towards the end of the year, I'm starting to get these referrals coming in from past clients, and it's working out exactly like you just said. You take care of them, and then their family members start coming along and friends, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah. And it's amazing how everybody wants to have a conversation about real estate. I mean, that's really, part of our, when I'm calling, anybody, but whether it's database clients or, people that are, they're in process, we're always asking, who else do you know that needs to have a conversation about real estate? Because there's so many, reasons why, people would want to, either get into a house or, transition from where they are to where they want to be.
Yes. Yeah. Downsizing, like you said, there's a myriad of reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, do you sense some hesitancy on the part of some people that maybe they have that low interest rate and they feel a little bit trapped because they want to be somewhere else, but they don't want to give up that low rate?
Yeah, especially at the beginning of the year, when rates were still, sniffing to 8%, a lot of that. But since they come down in the mid sixes, it's kind of relieved itself a little
Hmm.
bit.
Yep.
I had a crazy summer, so it really didn't seem to affect me that much. But yeah, I get that a lot though. And other people that I try to talk to and stuff, like, we're waiting on interest rates to come down. Well, it's never going to be 2% again,
Right.
probably. Like it's not going to be 18% like it was in 1981 or two or whenever that was.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
I hope.
yeah, well, I mean, and we've seen things for a little while. It's like, I probably both of us remember what it was like in 2007, 8, 9. There were a lot of people were laid off, and and people remember, oh, when housing prices fell, it's like, yeah, but there weren't people buying because there were, it was just a bad time. Or when interest rates got really low, it's like, but we didn't get together with our family. We didn't get to gather at church or go to sporting events or things like that. And it's like we remember what we look at as a positive, but we forget sometimes that the negative that goes along with that.
That's a very good point because along with those low interest rates, well, now you've got everybody and their brother wanting to buy a house.
Yep.
Now everybody's bidding that house up, way over list price,
Yep.
way over what it appraises for. So now you got to come up with appraisal gap money on
Hmm.
top of your down payment money, on top of closing costs. And you're still, paying way too much for the house. So that's the negative side of that beautiful low interest rate,
Right.
you
Right.
know?
Because every 1%, the stat that I heard is every 1% reduction in interest rate, there's a million more people that are able to purchase.
Right.
And and we have not had the kind of inventory that we need for the number of people that can buy now since before the crash. Because you know I got into the business in 2010, so kind of like just after, in the aftermath, but nobody was building, because why build new homes when there's all these houses sitting empty?
Right.
And
Yeah.
and even when things kind of turned around, you know they just weren't able to keep up, because by that time, drywallers, framers, roofers had all gone somewhere else.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, it's one of those things of being careful what you wish for, because like,
Right.
and that's helping people see that you know there are windows of opportunity in whatever market that you're in, and having someone like yourself to be able to guide them to recognize those windows. um like maybe right now, because rates are a little bit higher than what obviously what they have been in the recent history. And we have people that are sitting on the sidelines waiting for the election. I'm not really sure what difference that would make one way or the other,
I
but
hear that
like,
one too.
yeah, it's like, but now you have an opportunity. Some inventory has been sitting a little bit. We have 33% more, 33% more inventory right now than we did last year at this time. You might be able to get a deal on the house now, and we can, rates are going to cycle. So, we're always looking at how long do you need the money, but lock in the price of your house now.
Right. Yeah. The old adage, marry the house, date the rate.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I had a thought a second ago and it just left my mind.
Oh, no, no worries. I'm sure it'll come back around. I do that
Yeah.
all the time. But yeah, um, so obviously relatively new to being a full-time agent. Uh, what are some of the lessons that you've learned over this year of taking that leap of faith?
Patience.
Okay.
Very much so. I'm naturally an impatient person. Come from manufacturing. It's very high paced. Go go go, and I'm still that way. But way going through this closing process and the inspection process, and especially an FHA deal, um, yeah, you got to have a little bit of patience and working through the mortgage and everything. So yeah, it's been a learning curve on that end for sure. But it is what it is. And once you get adjusted to the process, again, being a manufacturing guy, I'm very process oriented. So once you get the process nailed down and see how everything flows, you adjust and it's fine.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. Now, do you have a process around your client experience?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. From the first time I meet them and, I have a routine, I certain things I say and give them and everything from the first time I meet them, to try to feel them out, see what they're about, what they're looking for, how serious they are, and stuff like that. And after that, I think one of the secrets to my success this year has been I talk to them like I've known them for 30 years, like I've known them since high school. And people seem to appreciate that. I'm pretty laid back by nature also, I'm just a dude from the south side of Muncie. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
And I treat people that way. I don't go in trying to be a stuffed shirt and have, be all professional and have commission breath and all that. I don't need them to buy a house so the cat can eat next week.
Right.
So and I think people like that. It lets the guard down. It takes everything down a different level, and everybody relaxes. We joke, and it's a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that education piece is huge because whether, especially for first time home buyers, but even folks that, are maybe a move up buyer, they may not have been through this process in the last 3 or 4 years. And every time you do it, it's different.
Right, right. And that's one of the first things I give. I created this buyer's guide, and it's literally, step A to Z on everything we're going to go through in buying a house, from getting pre-approved to making an offer to the inspections all the way to closing, just to lay the groundwork and the lay of the land of what they can expect. And I've got a lot of good feedback on that, because like you said, even if they haven't been through it in several years, it just refreshes them so they know what's coming up.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And, because like you're saying, every time you go through it, it can be different because, the market's going to be a little bit different. The economy is going to be a little bit different.
Yeah.
And, helping people assess, where they are and where they want to be. One of the things we're talking with our folks about is, if you have a house, let's have a conversation about an equity transition plan where, we're going from, maybe, an historic low interest rate to a higher interest rate on a house that you really want that may be more expensive now. But there's ways to, look at your debt, restructure things, and, end up with an opportunity to increase cash flow and be in the house that you want to be in.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Cool. So what advice would you give to someone who, is wanting to get into the business?
Do the things. I mean, I know that sounds simple, but me and a new guy, I was just talking about it a couple weeks ago I mean, he's like a younger version of me, and I love this guy. We're like, what are we doing that these other folks aren't doing? Because, we look at the chart and we're here and they're not. It's like, we just do the things. I mean, there's, the follow up. I mean, number one, as you well know, right?
Yeah.
Stay in touch, be cool, don't be pushy. I am very anti-pushy.
Right.
You're spending this amount of money on something. I'm not going to push you into a $350,000 house that you don't like,
Right.
and then you're going to hate me and you're not going to send me those referrals,
Right.
know? So I think just doing those basic things and staying on top of it, keeping your CRM updated,
Mhm.
setting the drip campaigns, that's part of my process, As soon as I get a new client, there's A, B, and C that I got to do in
Mhm.
the system and keeping that thing up and running. And just doing those basics, learning to dribble, learning to pass,
Yep.
learning to shoot with your elbow in, the fundamentals.
Yeah, it's another mentor of mine said that a great business is a boring business because you're doing the same things every time.
Right.
But it does really get back to how many conversations are we having? How many times are we asking them who else do they know?
Right.
Can I count on you when you have a friend, family, or coworker that is talking about buying or selling real estate to give me a call? um, and just again, like you're saying, just the basics. And but championship teams are built on the basics.
Exactly. Exactly. Fundamentals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I love it. I love it. One of the things that I've been working with some realtors on is a follow up refer back program where we kind of tag team on leads. So on my end, obviously, I'm not calling them to you know find out what kind of house or get them out looking at houses, but hey, just so you know, I work with John. He's an amazing agent. How did you meet him? Oh, you met him in an open house, or oh, you were referred by a friend. Hey, literally, he's the best in the area. If I was listing my house or if I was buying a house, I definitely want to use John. Hey, have you connected with them to, go through the, buyer's consultation? And, you know, again, just another opportunity to solidify that buyer back over to you and make sure that nothing falls through the cracks.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I work with my lender partners the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Very,
even my new construction guys, when they get random people coming in looking at, new construction house, they've got a house to sell a lot of times too.
mhm.
So I'll get some referrals from those guys from time to time too.
Yeah, because that's another great point, because sometimes you especially in that new construction, yeah, they're looking at that new build, but you also have to coordinate, are you selling your house, are you renting it out, or what are you doing, so
Right.
that you can transition from the one to the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
um what do you see as the biggest challenge in the market today?
Oh boy. Um, Really, it's getting back to the lack of inventory. I've got a lot of buyers right now that I can't seem to find them a house for.
Mm,
It's this 200 to 350 range. It
mm-hmm.
seems like it's just kind of, I don't know, kind of dried up here recently.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I think we're seeing that, in our market as well. There's, whatever that, the, it's kind of crazy that a $400,000 house is like a starter home,
I
but
know.
like anything under, the 350, it's either just terrible or, everybody wants it. So,
Exactly. If it's been on the market for a while, it's got something wrong with it. If it's nice in a nice area, it lasts 2 days maybe.
right, right. So, well, very good. So, um, so now have you always been in the Fishers area then?
No, well, for real estate, yes.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah. But I cover all of Indianapolis.
okay,
Yeah.
very, very cool.
Yeah.
Um, so I think it touched on it a little bit, but your client experience. What are the things that you were doing that sets you apart from other agents in your market?
I think, going back to it, I think just my I don't know how else to put it, but just being cool,
Yep.
without being salesy.
Hmm.
You know, I don't like a pushy salesperson. I talk to other agents that have listings and they'll hit me up multiple times and they just have that whole sales pitch, you know,
Hmm.
real pushy. And even that, it turns even me off. And I
Right.
can't imagine doing that to one of my clients. You
Yeah.
know, I refuse to be that way. When I meet my clients, my whole thing is I want to get to know them personally, and I want to laugh with them. I want them to have
Hmm.
a good time looking for the
Yeah.
house. It's
Yeah.
stressful enough. Moving and buying a house and all that stuff is stressful enough. Let's have a good time while we're doing it.
I love it. I love it. Well, John, thank you so much for being with us here today. I'm sure that a lot of people would love to get connected with you, whether to buy or sell real estate or talk to you about getting started. What's the best way for someone to get in contact with you?
You can call me or email me. My phone number is 765-730-1872, or email me at jdewit@truebloodre.com.
All right, I love it, and I want to thank everyone for joining us here today with John. And please be sure to like and subscribe to the podcast and share it with 3 or 4 other people that would be interested in learning more about real estate and taking that step of faith. Again, we've been powered by the Wells Funding Group. You can reach the team and I at 219-230-8400. This is Dennis Wells. Thank you so much, John. Thank you again for being with us here today.
Thanks, Dennis.
All right. Thank you.